Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I think a lot of us deal with, maybe without even quite naming it. It's how other people's emotions can end up, well, sort of running our lives.
Yeah, it's a really common thing. We're drawing on a discussion called Stop Letting Their Feelings Control You today. And the idea is to give you a shortcut, really, to understanding why this happens and, crucially, how you can handle those external feelings without losing yourself.
Exactly. We want to really unpack this, like, why are we so susceptible? Why does someone else's mood affect us so much? And, what can you actually do about it? Have you ever had that? Your day's going fine, and a coworker, maybe someone in the family is just in a terrible mood.
Oh, absolutely.
And suddenly your whole day feels kind of gray and heavy.
It's surprisingly common, that feeling, that negativity just sort of seeps in. And suddenly your own mood feels hijacked, almost. This deep dive is all about getting a handle on that dynamic and figuring out how to maybe choose a different reaction.
Okay, so let's get into it. What's the root of this? Why are we so easily pulled in by how others are feeling?
Well, it's interesting because a big part of it is deeply wired into us. Being sensitive to others' emotions, it isn't just like a personality thing. It's tied to our survival, historically speaking.
Survival? How so?
Think about it. For most of human history, belonging to the group, being accepted, that was everything. It meant safety, resources, protection. So we developed this really keen sense, this awareness of other people's emotional states.
Ah, like an early warning system.
Kind of, yeah. It helped us navigate the social world, keep those connections strong, avoid being ostracized. We learned to tune in, to manage things, to keep the peace within the crowd,
So our brains are sort of stuck on this older setting, where keeping everyone happy literally meant survival.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
We're definitely wired to notice social cues, emotional cues included, because for such a long time, missing those cues could have really serious consequences. We learn to adapt our behavior, sometimes automatically, to maintain those bonds.
But that wiring feels kind of out of date sometimes, right? Like, my colleague having a bad morning is unpleasant, sure, but it's not exactly life or death for me.
That's the mismatch. Our modern world, our social situations, they've changed dramatically. But some of those basic responses, that deep wiring, it's still there. The need for connection is real, absolutely. But the immediate survival stakes, usually not the same.
Right.
But that old tendency, that habit of prioritizing how everyone else feels, well, it can really lead us down some unhelpful paths today.
What kind of paths? What are the consequences if we let this run unchecked?
Well, for starters, it can really erode your own inner peace. You end up feeling constantly a bit on edge, trying to guess how people feel, trying to manage it all.
That constant monitoring.
Exactly. And it can also mean putting your own stuff, your goals, your needs, even just your opinions on the back burner because you're worried about, upsetting someone or causing friction. And maybe most importantly, it can chip away at your own sense of self, your self-worth, if you're always looking outside for emotional cues, for validation.
That really hits home. It's like handing someone else the remote control for your own feelings. Okay, so how do we spot this in ourselves? What are some clear signs that, maybe someone else's mood is calling the shots for me?
Right. Self-awareness is key here. One really big sign is feeling guilty when someone else is upset. Automatically guilty, even if you logically know you didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, I know that one. That immediate, oh no, they're unhappy, it must be my fault feeling.
Even when there's no real reason for it. Another thing is, like, obsessively going over conversations or texts. Rereading that email 50 times, trying to figure out the exact tone, analyzing every word choice, constantly trying to decode their hidden feelings about you. It comes from wanting to control their reaction, often.
That endless mental replay, it's exhausting.
It really is. And then there's holding back. You're not saying what you really think or feel because you don't want to cause trouble or conflict. You just want to keep things smooth, even if it means silencing yourself.
So choosing that surface level calm over being authentic.
Pretty much. And another big one is feeling like you're somehow responsible for other people's happiness. Like it's your job to cheer them up, fix their problems, make sure they're okay, often to the point where you neglect your own needs.
Taking on their emotional load, basically.
Exactly. And look, it's really important for you listening to know these are super common patterns. So many of us do this without even realizing how much we're being swayed.
Okay, so we see how we get here, we see the signs, but what's the actual damage? What does it cost us to live this way?
The costs can be pretty steep, actually. Just think about the sheer mental energy, the time that gets sucked up by worrying about and trying to manage how everyone else feels.
Yeah, all that headspace.
Right. That's energy and time you could be putting into your own life, your own goals, your own rest even. And when you're constantly trying to keep everyone else happy, or at least not unhappy, you can start making decisions based on fear. Fear of their reaction, fear of disapproval.
So holding yourself back from opportunities.
Yeah, maybe not going for that promotion, not speaking up in a meeting, not taking a chance because you're too worried about how it might land with someone else. You limit your own potential.
Hmm.
And maybe one of the trickiest costs is how it undermines your own feelings. If the focus is always outward, on accommodating others, you implicitly teach yourself that your emotions, your needs, they just don't matter as much.
Wow, that's powerful. Devaluing your own inner world.
It is. And long term, this can easily lead to burnout.
Yeah.
It's exhausting emotional labor. It can breed resentment too, ironically, towards the very people whose feelings you're trying so hard to manage. And just general anxiety often goes up.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense. So the big question, how do we start to untangle ourselves? How can you, listening right now, start getting your emotional independence back?
Well, the first step, and it sounds simple, but it's fundamental, is truly recognizing, like, deep down accepting that other people's emotions are theirs. They belong to them. You are not responsible for fixing them or feeling them.
So really internalizing that I'm not an emotional sponge.
Exactly. It requires a real shift sometimes. Step 2 is learning to pause before you react. Your instinct, when you sense upset, might be to jump right in, smooth it over, fix it.
Right, the immediate fixer impulse.
Yeah. Try to create just a little bit of space.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Don't just react on autopilot.
And in that pause, what should we be thinking?
A really useful question to ask yourself is this even about me? Honestly, so often, someone's bad mood or frustration has absolutely nothing to do with you. It's about their own stuff. That pause gives you a chance to see that.
That's huge. Just asking that question takes the personal sting out of it immediately.
It really can. Okay, step 3. Get more comfortable with other people being uncomfortable. We naturally want everyone to be happy, but that's just not realistic, is it? People feel all sorts of things. Their bad mood isn't necessarily a comment on you, and it's not your job to make it vanish.
So letting them have their feelings without needing to jump in and fix it for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let it be their experience. And step 4 is about emotional boundaries. This is crucial. You can care about someone deeply without carrying their feelings as if they're your own baggage. Boundaries help you define where your emotional space ends and theirs begins. You can be supportive without absorbing it all.
Setting boundaries can feel really hard, though, especially with people we're close to.
Oh, it absolutely can be. It takes practice. But it's so vital for your own mental health. You can be empathetic, you can listen, you can offer support, but you don't have to take their emotional state into yourself.
Which leads us to this idea of, well, putting ourselves first sometimes, prioritizing our own peace. And that can feel, I don't know, selfish.
That's such a common hurdle. But it's really a misinterpretation. You have a right to prioritize your own emotional well-being. It's not selfish, it's essential. That means sometimes choosing what brings you peace, even if someone else is a bit disappointed.
So it's okay if my no makes someone unhappy.
It has to be okay. It also means holding on to what you believe is right, your convictions, even if someone tries to guilt you or argues. Trust your own inner compass. And crucially, you're allowed to be happy even if someone else isn't. Their unhappiness doesn't cancel out your right to feel good.
It's like reclaiming your own emotional space and saying, my well-being matters too.
Exactly. Think of it as self-care, as essential maintenance for your mental health, not selfishness. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? If you're constantly drained by managing everyone else, you have nothing left for yourself, or even genuinely for them in the long run.
So wrapping this up for everyone listening, the big takeaway here seems to be that, yeah, empathy is great, connection is vital, but you are in charge of your emotional state. It's not your job to fix or manage everyone else's.
That's it, in a nutshell. And maybe one final thought to leave you with. If you, being true to yourself, prioritizing your own peace, happens to make someone else uncomfortable, well, maybe that discomfort is actually about their stuff. Maybe it's an opportunity for their growth, not a sign that you did something wrong.
That's a really powerful way to look at it. Puts the responsibility back where it belongs. So for you listening, remember that protecting your own peace isn't just okay, it's fundamental. It's not selfish at all.
Absolutely. Your emotional well-being is foundational. Looking after it isn't just self-care, it's an act of strength, really. Self-respect,